welcome to the August full moon in Aquarius 2019. I'm Armand Diaz on Long Island, where it used to be summertime.
And I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin, where we're kind of back to having an Irish summer where it really is not that sunny and warm. So we need somebody from the warmer climates to please, if you're listening to this, can you please send us all some sunshine? Thank you.
Yeah, could really use a little bit, right? I don't want summer to wrap up so quickly, but we have this full moon. Now, Margaret, full moon in Aquarius, very sociable sign. The sun is conjunct Venus at this full moon. It seems to me that this ought to be just a real great full moon for socializing, for romance, for fun.
So, Armand, there's a big but there, isn't there? Because even though it looks like a really social, and it is, but it's social on a collective level rather than social on a personal level. And it also feels like it's got a little bit of a sting in the tail there because there's that aspect from the sun to Pluto. And we've had that for a little while. This is not something new. We've had it for a few days, but I think really it's kind of going to be heightened with the full moon because we all know the full moon really, they always bring up all these big feelings. So most people kind of feel a little out of sorts around a full moon. And when there's an aspect from the sun to Pluto, then there's really so much that's coming up from the underworld. I imagine almost like this lava is bubbling away and is just coming up and you don't quite know what's in it and what's going to come up. So there could be a little bit of anxiety around this full moon. What do you think?
I think so. It's the case that, the full moon in Aquarius, it has a very collective sort of vibe. Like maybe, you could share the same ideals, but when it comes time to actually getting there and doing things on a practical level, maybe not so much. And, Aquarius is a very cool cerebral sign, and the full moon is all about emotions. And so what I could see happening is, we feel the emotional reaction, but we somehow manage to turn that into it's an issue of principle or something like that. We're not direct about the emotions, we're hiding it. And then that aspect of Pluto is a quincunx, which is another, it's sort of hidden, it's indirect. The traditional astrologers would say that the sun and Pluto don't see each other, which means the influence of Pluto is there, but it's not direct. And it seems to me, it's just sort of, it's this irritability that gets infused into this full moon. This sort of, okay, we're all on the same page, but you keep your distance from me and don't come over here. And the sun and Venus, well, maybe that warms things up, or maybe Venus gets a little bit overcooked in the heat of the sun. Maybe there's a little too much intensity there.
I think that's a good description. I'm also wondering that, I'm thinking really more than wondering that there's a strong possibility that secrets could come to light during this full moon, and secrets are secret for a reason. That doesn't make it good or bad, but it means that there's usually something serious behind why they have been relegated into that secret box. And I'm thinking that really might happen, particularly because Mercury is also squaring Uranus. So suddenly out of the blue, people might hear some, unexpected news about their relationships, about, past relationships or current relationships, or maybe relationships they were hoping to get involved with. Also could be to do with family dynamics, because again, we've got that Aquarian vibe, which is much more the tribe, the group, the family group, and also friendship group, of course. And another thing I think that's interesting about this is that dynamic between collective versus individual. We've got that strong Sun, Venus in Leo, and we've got Mars in Leo at the moment as well, which is very much about me as an individual. Here I come and let me open my heart. And it's a very enthusiastic kind of stellium there. And then the moon in Aquarius is like, but hang on, it's not just all about you. It's also about the collective. And so we're kind of pulled and pushed between, our ego, what we want, and then being pulled by, the wider picture. And this is something I know both you and I have talked about in our blogs in recent days.
I could really, this is the sort of thing, like we're going to go to the political rally and we all share that same ideal. We're fighting for our cause. And then like the person next to you like bumps into you and you give him the elbow. And it's this kind of,
Yes.
yeah, we're all on the same page in the abstract, but we're not really there in a personal level. Now, when it comes to personal relationships, I mean, I think we might have a little of the same. I mean, especially, you know, when it comes to friendships, because the Aquarius full moon is usually great for getting out with friends and so on. It could be hard to come to an agreement about what we're going to do. And there might be a little bit of, all right, we're going to go there. But of course, we always go there. And that's not where I wanted to, that type of thing. And I think when it comes to our personal relationships, too, there might be a little bit of that sort of, well, you know, are we on the same page about things? It could be everybody almost sort of wants to do their own thing and be by themselves, but sort of feels the need to be in a group or with another.
And not to forget that, you know, Pluto is pretty close to the South Node, you know, and we've had this aspect, we've had this Saturn South Node, you know, sandwiched between Pluto and Saturn for a while. And there's something about it that keeps, it's like we can't quite let go of the past. It's like trying to let go of past patterns of being in a relationship, trying to let go of maybe past memories or past dynamics and all kinds of past things. And yet we keep being pulled back. And it's a very regressive energy, which doesn't feel comfortable. And you mentioned the quincunx isn't very comfortable. It really isn't. It's like, you know, like a stone in a shoe. It's just we try to get comfortable. We try to think, well, that's the past. Now I'm just living in the present, and you know, I'm a different person, and blah blah blah. And yet something pulls us back. And maybe it's worth really looking at what is pulling you back. You know, take a good look at it and think, okay, what do I need to do to actually finally clear whatever this is, you know, so that then we're done with it and we can really move forward, you know, into that North Node in Cancer, which is lovely and soft and nurturing and loving and so on. But it's hard to move. It's like when people say, oh, love yourself, but we can't really love ourselves until we've kind of cleared some of the debris from the past often, and just come to terms with it sometimes. It's just facing it and saying, okay, this is where I've come from and I've done my best, and you know, I'm ready to really kind of have some peace with it. So I think there's a piece of that involved with this full moon.
If there's a gift to Saturn and the South Node, I'd have to say that it goes exactly that way, of because we're so motivated to change our patterns and we have a hard time doing it. But Saturn is there in his own sign, and he's sort of showing us, you know, that we're doing that. It's a little bit more overt, maybe. We can actually see that we're doing that we're having a hard time moving out of the past. But that is exactly, I mean, you know, we're always clearing the underbrush. We're always trying to break through those old, you know, those old entrenched patterns. And it is an opportunity to do so. It's a bit of a challenge. It's hard to have, you know, at the full moon, you see things, but it's hard to really have good control of them. I do have to say, though, that when we get to the weekend, we have a Pisces moon. It's going to be a little bit softer. There are some kind of nice aspects coming up. So maybe as we go towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe things are going to get a little bit easier to work with in terms of, you know, either working with the things that have come up constructively, or else maybe just go have a good time.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it's important with these energies because we've had months of tough energies and then we have little spells where it's a little easier, like the last week or so. I think to really enjoy those times where we get some breathers in between, you know, as you say, to have some fun, you know, to make sure that we kind of have some people that we can call on and say, hey, come on, let's just go out for the day, or go and have a beach day if the sun is shining for you, or, you know, just go for a walk or go to a nice movie or something. That's really crucial so that we can kind of maintain balance. It's a lot about balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's about balance, and balance is not easy. Balance is not easy at a full moon with things, you know. It's a real trick. It's maybe more juggling than balancing. And I don't know if we're juggling balls or knives.
Yeah, there's a lot of it around. So yeah, so look forward to the weekend. You know, it's remember, it's not an eclipse, it's just a full moon, so it passes by quickly. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all for the new moon. Take care, Armand. Bye-bye.